Ni hao, paños, which is hello, friends in Chinese. It's Luke here again with another one of these here video blogs. I feel like the last one went pretty darn smooth, so I thought, hey, what the heck? Why not just do another one of these cheesy things? Especially because I got a lot of info to cover again. Except this time it won't be quite as long, I promise, so just bear with me. In this one, I'm going to be explaining my little weekend trip / vacation to Shanghai, China, which is actually the largest city in all of China with a population of about 18 million people. It's also the largest city in the entire world, defined according to the concept of city proper, which is an urban locality without its suburbs. So it has the most people within a little bubble, not including its outside roots and suburbs. Shanghai is also very, very clean compared to Beijing. Doesn't have trash all over the streets. People are a lot more considerate and throw their stuff actually in trash cans, and there's public workers that come by and sweep it all up. And China also claims it to be the Paris of the East because of how clean it is and everything that it has to offer. The first thing we noticed when we got to Shanghai was the intense Chinese PDA. This was mostly the younger couples that we saw, but they would just perform PDA on trains, subways, your local McDonald's, escalators, elevators, anywhere you name it, they displayed affection in these public places. I was going to snap some photos and stuff so you guys could see how these teenagers are just macking all over each other. But I thought it'd be pretty awkward if they caught me taking pictures of them, so I just steered clear of that. The way we got to Shanghai we took a high-speed rail D train, which was about a 5-hour train ride. On the way here, we rode on a Class 2 seats. First class seats were sold out, and it only cost us about 148 yuan, which is only $23 a ticket, which is crazy cheap. And then on the way back, we actually got lucky enough to ride in first class seats, which was only 30 more, and it was 178 yuan a ticket. So that was about $28. The hostel we stayed at while we were in Shanghai for 4 nights was the Blue Mountain Youth Hostel. We stayed in an 8-bed dorm, which had 4 bunk beds in it, and it only cost 40 yuan a night per person, which is only 650, which I thought was absolutely dirt cheap to stay in. It was actually pretty nice. It had little closed showers, nice little area for you to do all your little dress ups, put your makeup on if you're a girl, brush your teeth. All that good stuff. And while we were there, we actually met some pretty cool people, some interesting folk. The first girl we met, her name was Celine. She was a 22-year-old girl who worked at a local coffee shop in Shanghai. She didn't go to college right after she graduated high school like her parents wanted her to. Instead, she moved to Shanghai and found a job. And she also found an American boyfriend who she lived with for 10 days when she didn't have a place to go. Just so generous. The next person we met was a man by the name of Michael. He was about 50 years old, and he was from the United Kingdom. He told us he has a wife and a teenage daughter back home, but they're not on good terms. Whatever the heck that means. He works in Shanghai. I think he might be an English teacher. I wasn't really sure, but he worked on electronics in his spare time. All in all, he was a super nice guy, and every time I saw him, he would say, "Ello Chap Ello Chap," which I thought was pretty cool. Stayed up late with us talking and stuff. Third girl we met in Shanghai. Her name was Jane. She was a 20-year-old college student who was majoring in English with a minor in journalism. She was extremely friendly and loved practicing her English by having conversations with us and listening to our music and asking us about some American movies, and we talked about some TV shows that she liked and all that cool stuff. Actually, on the last day we were there, she went around the city with us and hung out and kind of explained some stuff to us, and we went and got lunch, and it was a really good time. So when you travel to Shanghai and you're a tourist, like we were, unfortunately, there's 2 main places that you want to check out. There's a river that goes right through the middle of the city, and on one side of the river is what they call the Bund, and on the other side is Pudong. So the Bund is Shanghai's what you would call walking street mostly. It's about 1.5 kilometers long, so in miles that's about 0.93 2956, just shy of a mile long. It's basically just old school and classic China. It was the original financial center of Shanghai. The Bun's many old stone buildings were built by Western companies in Gothic, Baroque, Romanesque, Classicism, and Renaissance styles. The people of Shanghai are super proud of the Bund and consider it to be a treacherous place. Owning a piece of land in the Bund is a symbol of wealth and honor. On my personal favorite side of the river was Pudong, which is more futuristic and modern China. It's home to the world's third tallest building, which is the Shanghai World Financial Center. It's standing at 1,614 feet tall with 101 floors. It was super wicked to see this huge building. I never thought before the age of 19 I'd see the third largest building in the world. So it was really cool. I took it all in. My personal favorite part of Pudong was the Apple flagship store, which was a giant glass cylinder with a spiral glass staircase. Led to the underground retail store. So basically, if Apple were a religion, this store would be their temple. I mean, it was absolutely spectacular. It was humongous. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's crazy how Apple has evolved into such a big brand. Another big part of Shanghai and the Pudong was the IFC Mall, which is the International Flagship Center Mall. So basically, if you're a hotshot brand name designer on an international level, you had a store here. Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Chanel, Dolce & Gabbana, Prada, Burberry, you name it, they had it. They even had a runway fashion show going on while we were there. It was absolutely fabulous. There's also a Starbucks in China, which I was pretty surprised to see, and also a DQ, Dairy Queen. Went and checked those out, got some stuff from there. Of course, there was McDonald's and Burger King, Subway, and all that good stuff. We also spent a lot of our time in the Science and Technology Museum of China, which was actually not science and technology at all. It was just shopping, which was completely crazy. We got a lot of stuff there. So that's basically our trip in Shanghai. So in conclusion to our little rendezvous to Shanghai, China, we met some pretty gnarly people, tried some awesome food, saw some incredible Chinese architecture, and all in all, we just flat out enjoyed ourselves. Now I'm back to teaching my beloved kindergartners here in Winling, China, and just trying to have the most incredible experience I can while I'm here. Thanks for watching. Oh, and just remember, I was in Shanghai.